Donald Trump will do any and everything that he can possibly get away with. He does not at all support the Constitution of the United States of America. This is a man who we better be careful about. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack. We need to know now, given that he's telling us that there's going to be violence if he loses.
Facing so many Republicans in Manhattan, so many Trump supporters in Manhattan, is that surprising?
No, not at all. It's turning now. Trump's turn again.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
F*** you.
All right, we should be live right now. See if I can find the chat. All right, we're in. I see Floyd, J Stars, and Carl J in the house. What's going on, boys? Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? Sorry this is so late, but it's again one of my only nights off, so trying to take advantage of it when I can. By the way, happy Memorial Day to everyone. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. It was pissing rain here all day, which actually was good for me because I got to sleep. Finally got some sleep. Jeffrey Rocha, what's up, my friend? Bob Gogan in the house. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys had a good holiday. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A lot to get to tonight. A short amount of time. D, what's going on tonight? How you doing, darling? We're going to talk about a few things. I got some things written down I want to touch on. We'll go from the box office to what happened in Congress this week with the digital dollar. The House passed a bill about the Federal Reserve. We'll talk about Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee. He has put forward to go to the House floor the UAP UFO Transparency Act. You guys have been with me for a while, know that that's something I'm interested in. So we'll talk about that. And if we have time before we finish, I want to get to, well, hopefully, Trump and the Bronx rally that he held. The mainstream media is absolute freak out about what's going on. Gia says on the CAT system. I don't know if we're going to have time to get into the CAT system, Gia. It's not something I'm overly familiar with. I know some things about it, but to say I'm an expert, definitely not. I think that's right up Bigham's alley. He knows that thing inside and out. Kryptonian, I'll be giving you guys an update very soon. I did get some encouraging words in an email, but yeah, I'll have an update for you guys very soon. Just hang in there. Smith, what's going on tonight? How you doing, my friend? Carl J says, admit they are real, damn it. Well, I think that's what Burchett's saying. I'm going to play a clip from him. He did an interview with one of the guys from News Nation. And, it makes a lot of sense what he said. He said, it's not going to be some kind of world-changing, life-changing thing if they come out and just tell us. He wants to know, and I think all of us want to know, where is the money going? Where are these billions and billions of dollars that are being funded? Where is the money going? And that's why he's asking for transparency. I don't even think, and like he said, I don't think it's about little green men or anything like that. Like, yeah, is there a possibility, or is it more on the lines of what Tucker has talked about, that this is that these beings are from the spiritual realm? I don't know, right? But I'd like to know where the money's going. If nothing else, find out what they are funding. What are they building? What are they researching? Where are the tax dollars going? At the end of the day, I think that's really, obviously, if we're talking about another species out there that's more advanced technologically than us, then okay, that's probably a concern. And the fact that the government has no answer to these crafts that are flying around, how to stop them or how to pick them up properly on radar and track them. That's obviously an issue as far as national defense goes. But really, for me, the thing I want to know is, where's the money going? Jerry, how you doing tonight? Floyd says, what do I think of the new Star Wars show? So obviously I haven't seen it yet, right, Floyd? Because it comes out, I think, June 4th. I have seen some of the previews, the trailers. Look, the woman who's directing it has been very clear from the get-go that her thoughts and her what she wants to do with this show, right? This is about telling her story of her ideology and her sexual preferences. And so I think that will be made abundantly clear once it comes out. The thing's got ratioed to hell. So I think a lot of Star Wars fans are getting fed up. And I think that's going for Hollywood in general. Like, if we're just looking at the box office numbers from this weekend, it is clear there is something going on in Hollywood that's not good for the AMC shareholders, for the theaters in general, and for Hollywood. People just are not giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore when it comes to these movies. It's not like they were trying to pull a bait and switch here with Furiosa, right? And they didn't even try to really tie it into Mad Max at all, like they did with the last one that was 10 years ago. But if you look, just not giving Hollywood the benefit of the doubt anymore. And I think that's fair, right? We've been tricked so many times into believing something just by the title, that we're going to get something when we go to the theater, and it turns out to be something completely different. And that, someone is replaced, or, there's a girl boss. That just isn't flying anymore. And I've heard all the reviews for the movie were pretty good. I mean, all the people I respect, as far as creators go on YouTube who are film critics, all gave it a really positive review. They all said it was a really good movie. So what does that tell you? That we can't even, it was the lowest. Well, I guess let's just get into it, right? Let's just get into the whole thing about the weekend box office. Since it's on the thumbnail, I guess we'll just start with that. But yeah, Floyd, I can't make any determinations yet before I see it. Obviously, I'm going to see if it's a decent show. I'll probably end up checking out one or two of the episodes at least. But I don't have much hope. Just knowing Lucasfilm and their track record, I don't know how you possibly could. All right. Let me pull this up. We'll go over the numbers for Furiosa, which were pretty bad, man. Pretty bad, unfortunately for us. All right, so this is from Variety. Let me remove some of these things. Okay. Now I'll pop this up. No. Come on. There we go. All right. Box office Furiosa just barely beats the Garfield movie in disastrous Memorial Day weekend, the worst in decades. And when we're talking decades, we're talking 3. 29 years ago was the last time we had a box office this bad for a holiday weekend. It says Garfield has another reason to hate Mondays. In a box office nail-biter, Furiosa and Mad Max Saga narrowly emerged victorious over the Garfield movie on North American charts. On Sunday, Warner Brothers and Sony both claimed its own movie ranked number 1 with a roughly $25 million over the weekend and an estimated $31 million through the Memorial Day holiday on Monday. With Monday's estimates, Furiosa ended up generating $26.2 million over the weekend and $32 million for the 4 days. Garfield was shockingly close behind with $24 million over the weekend and $31.1 million over the 4 days. Now, I didn't see any advertising for Garfield, except for when I went to the new Ghostbusters a couple months ago, or maybe it was a month ago. I saw the trailer in the before the film started. So I don't know how much but the numbers for Furiosa are not looking good. Need a miraculous to come anywhere close. They had $170 million filming budget on this movie, and probably won't break 32 million over the 4 days, which means stand the mentality here in Hollywood. I don't get it. They have to be realizing that this is a failed plan. How many times are they going to keep putting out these girl boss movies before they realize that they are not winners? They are losers. It's just oversaturation of this agenda that they want to push. And it is not working. I don't want, you can't sit out here and blame COVID anymore or anything like that. We are talking about just a total rejection by the populace as far as Hollywood goes, period. People are not giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore. They're not falling for the bait and switch. And this is an issue. This is a problem. No matter the final order, it's the worst Memorial Day weekend in nearly 3 decades, excluding 2020 when the theaters were entirely closed due to COVID. Box office comparisons to the same holiday weekend in 2023 are particularly tough, down by nearly 36%, given that Disney's The Little Mermaid remake took the crown with $118 million, one of the best debuts for the holiday. Overall, this Memorial Day stretch adds to Hollywood's summer woes as ticket sales remain 22% behind 2023 and a concerning 41% behind 2019, according to ComScore. That is horrendous. It's a particularly disappointing showing for Furiosa, the 5th entry in director George Miller's post-apocalyptic Mad Max series. The R-rated film, which stars Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris, who both I heard gave really good performances for this movie, was expected to lead with 40 to 45 million. Now, I saw estimates on the beginning of last week that they were talking 70 to 85 million. So they're well short of the estimates. Even of that, wouldn't have been a stellar start given the film 65 million. At this rate, it's a struggle to live up to the franchise's previous entry, 2015's Mad Max Fury Road, starring Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, which opened to 45 million, not on a holiday weekend. Especially when they don't have action epic, failed to expand beyond its core demographic of older male moviegoers. I wonder why. For Garfield, which cost $60 million, it's a decent start. Now, so this is the only positive about this weekend. Garfield only cost $60 million. They've already got likely Garfield will turn. It says it's a decent start for a family film while arriving on the lower end of projections of 30 to 30. The movie has already generated 66.3 million overseas and 91 globally. So it's well-positioned theatrical run. Chris Pratt voices titular cat who hates Monday in the Garfield movie, which was financed and produced by Alcon Entertainment. I wonder, I'm just curious if anyone in the chat saw Furiosa this weekend. It got really good reviews from the critics, the critics that you see on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, as well as Bob, let me know in the I'm surprised how late it is that we're having any issues at all with the connection, internet connection. So, I don't know. I can't see anyone in the chat right now if they've answered. If anyone actually went to go see the movie this weekend. Oh, wait. Jeffrey did. Jeff Rocha says, I've got, so we opted for Garfield. Good. Unfortunately, the numbers just are not matching up with the reviews. And like I said, you know, that is an issue for us. Being shareholders of a theater company, we don't want to see these kind of numbers. And this is not something that's the doubt anymore. Jesse said, Bob says in and out. Hopefully that stopped. But yeah, this was the worst in 29 years for a weekend box office Memorial Day. I think the last one was, I want to say like early 2000s. No, I'm sorry, maybe late 90s with the Casper release, made just around 25 million. So 3 decades, we've never been this low. And again, it's not anymore. We saw that the pre-sale tickets for Deadpool Wolverine, which isn't coming out for like another 2 months, is already over 10 million in pre-sales for a movie that's not coming out for another 2 months. Jesse's in the house tonight. What's up, Jesse? He says, FINRA fraud justice for all MMTLP, AMC, GME shareholders. I would like to see some justice. It's about time. All we've gotten so far is injustice. Right, Jesse? I'm going to up the second. I'm going to try to all get this done before 1 a.m. if possible. I know it's a holiday night and this is really late, so hopefully we'll be able to get in all the topics before I let you go. All right. I see Jody in the chat. Hey, what's up, girl? All right. Let's move on to the digital dollar, the Federal Reserve, J-PAL. And if you believe it, this bill that the House just passed went completely down the line as far as partisanship. You'll never guess who voted for this type of restructuring and having a digital dollar from the Federal Reserve. Here's the article. It's from a few days ago, the 23rd. It says, House passes bill barring Federal Reserve from issuing digital dollar. House passed a bill Thursday barring the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency, CBDC, unless it has explicit authorization from Congress. The CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act passed the chamber by a 216 to 192 vote, almost entirely along partisan lines. And I'll let you guys take a wild guess onto which party was voting for and against this bill. The move is largely symbolic, as the Fed has not put forward plans to issue a CBDC, even though we all know that this has been in the pipeworks for a while now. They've been working on this for a long time. And more than likely, they want to push forward the Fed, would not move approval. Well, now, because of this bill, they can't. Even so, Republicans, including former President Trump, have voiced concerns about potential government misuse of a CBDC. A CBDC is a digital version of a currency issued by a central bank. In the U.S., this would entail the Fed issuing a digital dollar that could be used the same way as a regular dollar. The only difference would be that the government would have, or the Fed have total control over that dollar because it's not something you can physically put in your pocket anymore. Which is why I think that if you're talking about conservatives or looking that looking towards or looking forward to having, nobody on the right wants this. Anyone who's right of center is not looking for a CBDC from the Federal Reserve to replace the dollar. The ability for us to be able to make transactions with physical is priceless. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, Republican from Minnesota, who introduced the legislation, has argued that a digital dollar could give the federal government the ability to surveil Americans' transactions and choke out politically unpopular activity. Meaning that just like with the truckers up in Canada last year, who had their bank accounts frozen by Justin Trudeau and the socialist government that is the Canadian Parliament right now, they would be able to more than likely, not have to even pull any type of federal emergency act. They would just be able to do this carte blanche if the Federal Reserve was politicized. Emmer's views on the issue track closely with those of Trump, who has vowed to block the creation of a CBDC if reelected. Says, as your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Trump, who is now the presumptive GOP nominee, said at a rally back in New Hampshire in January. Such a currency would give our federal government, the absolute control over your money. He added at the time, they could take your money, you wouldn't even know it was gone. This would be a dangerous threat to freedom. However, Representative Auntie Maxine Waters, Democrat from California, who was one of the primary beneficiaries of Sam Bankman-Fried and the FTX debacle, ranking member of the House Financial Services Committee, argued on the House floor Thursday that banning CBDCs directly threatens the primacy of the U.S. dollar. There is nothing inherent about a CBDC that would compromise privacy. That is a design feature that is within our control, she added. So she's giving away the game right there in her own words. The design feature that is within our control. Exactly what we don't want. Clearly, the government, especially Congress, has an issue with money. They can't balance a budget. They continually drive us deeper into debt. We're talking about $1 trillion every 100 days, and there is no end in sight to this. The bill is instead an attempt to stifle U.S. innovation and competitiveness abroad and to undermine the federal agency that is most critical to fighting inflation. You'd think she would have learned her lesson from the scandal that FTX was, but here she is out here spewing nonsense, saying that this is something that we need. And again, she gives away the game in her own statement. Jesse says, Mass Back Live makes Tuesdays fly by. Jesse, what's going on, my friend? Are you back from America yet? Are you back in New Zealand? So, yeah, that's good news. They passed that bill. No CBDC without authorization from Congress. And, there's a lot of things that I disagree with when it comes to the GOP. I don't think they have a backbone, maybe even less than some of the Democrats. At least the Democrats go out there and fight and play dirty. Won't even, they won't do anything for us. This is, at least gives us a little breathing room before they could push a CBDC on us that's backed by the Federal Reserve. Because again, that's would allow the government to have complete control. You're talking about the Treasury in cahoots, depending on who's heading the administration, who was the Secretary of the Treasury at the time. This can be used for political reasons, can be weaponized, just like they're doing with the DOJ now against Trump. Jesse says, we are home safe and sound, just in time to get back on this GameStop goodness. Good, man. I'm glad you made it back. I'm glad you enjoyed. Hopefully I can get to New Zealand someday soon, Jesse, and have a visit. Now that you've been here, it's only fair. So yeah, this is good news for us. Very good. All right, I'm going to pull up. Hopefully this comes up with you guys. I'm still getting used to putting these new graphics on the screen, trying to make them work with the comments. All right, here we go. Hopefully that changes. Yep, boom, there we go. All right. Like I said, I'm going to try to fly through the night because we have limited time. I'm going to try to get through all the topics that are in the thumbnail in the description. All right, this is from Congressman Tim Burchette's homepage. He is a Republican in Tennessee. He is America First, Patriot Party. Says Representative Burchett introduces UAP Transparency Act. This is a press release. This is from last week, the 17th. U.S. Congressman Tim Burchett introduced the UAP Transparency Act, which would require the declassification of all federal documents related to unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. Representative Jared Muskowski, Anna Paulina Luna, the hottie from Florida, and Representative Eric Burleson, all original co-sponsors of the bill. It says the bill isn't about finding little green men or flying saucers. It's about forcing the Pentagon and federal agencies to be transparent with the American people. I'm sick of hearing bureaucrats telling me these things don't exist while we spent millions of taxpayer dollars on studying them for decades, said Representative Burchett. The UAP Transparency Act requires the President of the United States to direct all federal agencies and departments to make all documents relating to UAPs available to the public within 270 days. It would also require the president to provide a quarterly report to the U.S. House of Representatives detailing the progress made toward declassifying these records by every federal agency. The full text of the bill can be found here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip. This was from News Nation the other night. This was Rep. Burchett. They were asking him what exactly he's looking for as far as this bill goes. I'm going to pop that video up on the screen for you guys. This is exactly what he said to the News Nation broadcaster here. Boom. I'll make this big screen. On a second. Hang on one second. I have to reboot this audio. I got static coming through. Is it still missing sound? Or did it go second time around? Let me make it. Hopefully this is coming through with sound now. Just someone put a 1 chat if you can hear this. Oh, I see Jerry says you're back. I didn't have sound on me. Is that what you guys were saying when I was talking? Now I'm back. Okay. You guys heard the representative, though? Shamanic Soul Sister, how you doing tonight, Sam? Jesse says, looks like Django. It's Your Money says, now you're back. It's Your Money. What's going on tonight, man? Table Rock Guy, Blueport, see you guys in the chat. So did the congressman come through? Did you guys hear what he said? Only can hear me. Shit. I have no idea why this isn't playing. Let me try one more thing. Shouldn't matter. Green. Yeah, I can see here that you guys can't hear it. There's no volume coming through. And I don't know why. It's definitely got volume here. Yeah, I can see it's not pumping volume on my side. I don't know why. Oh, it's CSI. What's up, CSI? All right. Hopefully that's working now. But I can, hopefully you guys can hear me, but I know you can't hear what the congressman just said, unfortunately. But he basically said what I was going over, that, you know, are spending all these millions of dollars. No one knows where the money is from coming out, and letting the taxpayers know where their money's going. Happening for decades, apparently. Maybe since as far back as the 30s or 40s. So how many hundreds of millions or billions of dollars are we talking about getting directed towards the research and development or the recovery of these crafts? If there's biological material being found with them, it's more bothersome to know that they are covering this up and not releasing the information to the public than I think to actually know what is really going on. The fact that the Navy fighter pilots say that they can't, track these things to a certain extent, that they have no capable weapon systems of getting rid of them, and that should be an issue that's concerning all of us. And if they're admitting that part of it, then we already should be alarmed as it is, right? How much more alarmed can we get based off the information? So I don't know what's going to happen with that. We'll see. It's going to go to the House floor. He said that Comer, and I believe Comer is the head of the Intelligence Committee right now, and Johnson, the House Speaker, both of them apparently have given the go on bringing this bill to the floor. And it should be interesting to see how it gets voted. Like he said, well, I know you guys couldn't hear him, but he was saying, let's see who votes it down. That should tell you a lot about who's behind secret. Why are they doing that? How does it benefit them? I'm going to have to figure out why that is not playing, why I can't get volume for you guys there. That's a problem. I know last week it was working good. CSI says things are about to start moving. I wrote a proposal, market misconduct, demanding Ken Griffin's license should be revoked, and I just paid for a press release about the proposal at 300 plus news. I'm assuming organizations. Yeah, I mean the CAT system apparently is exposing some of this stuff, right? CSI. They said that there's been like billions of indications of manipulation going on. So good. Keep pressing. I wish I had more time on my hands to get more involved with, pushing this, these type things. He says, he continues on, 300 plus news stations, and I sent their proposal to about 12 House and Senate members and includes the petition. Good for you, man. Yeah, the only way we're going to get any type of change is pressure and, the threat of people losing their jobs. But this CAT system apparently is doing its thing, right? I guess it's working to expose some of this and give some more transparency to the market and how these guys are finding these loopholes, these gray areas. So we'll see what happens. CSI says it's been signed by 17,000 people. I didn't even know there was a petition going around CSI. No, I mean, good for you for doing it. Yeah, good for us, but good for you for doing it, for pushing and putting the time in to actually do something like that. People fired up and worried about futures. There's a huge problem going on with the lobbying that's taking place in members of Congress who are being able to collect on the back end and being allowed to continue to take in campaign donations with the promise of them winning. And then once they leave, they have cushy jobs on some board somewhere, or they're getting all kinds of phenomenal speaking fees to come over and tell them about their government boring job, to Fortune 500 companies. This has been happening now. And this is how we've come into this, how we've kind of lost our democracy, right? I keep hearing over and over again that democracy is on the line in this election and we're going to lose our democracy with Donald Trump. We've lost our democracy a long time ago. It's slowly but surely slipping through our hands. And, I said this the last week or a couple weeks ago. I don't want to be the member of the generation that people look back on and say, why did you guys do nothing? You guys did nothing. You sat around and you allowed these people to continue to be criminals, to allow criminality to take place, and lost what was the most prominent, best constitutional republic on the planet. I don't want that to be the hallmark of the late millennials, Gen X, this generation. That how is history gonna look back on us? Were we patriots who were fighting to save the country, who were putting more than just words into a microphone like I'm doing right now? Like I've told you guys before that I'm working on behind the scenes here, trying to get someone into Congress to help the situation, at least for the district up here in New England, trying to get rid of some of these left-wing lunatics that we have running the show right now. And, everyone does a little bit, then we're going to make progress. But we can't just sit around. Going and protesting back last year didn't do anything to help our cause. All the times we came on, collabs, did live streams with other YouTubers. None of that seems to have done that much. Although I guess a couple changes have been made. impactful has been done yet. Unfortunately. But the night is young. I guess we still got time. Jesse says GME is going to run tomorrow. I hope AMC runs besides GME. So is tomorrow, is there a date here? Shamanic Soul Sisters says, what democracy? Truth. 100%. CSI says, I'm expecting some interview requests about the proposal and Griffin has done to our market. I'm going to point them to you, not me. CSI, you got to go on and talk about it's your proposal, man. Don't point them to me. You took the time to write the proposal. You should get the glory. Barry Electronics says, what I miss? Not much, Barry Electronics. We just went over a couple things. We talked about the box office bill, about CBDC, no central bank digital currency for Federal Reserve. And we talked about UAPs for a little bit. You didn't miss that much. But yeah, CSI, don't point them in my direction. You got to take the glory, my friend. You put the time into writing the petition. 17,000 signatures is a lot. Your wife's boyfriend says the cat is already basically tracking all the data. Yeah, so is tomorrow some specific date? Is something going on tomorrow on the 29th? I'm supposed to be aware of? Let me see here. I don't see anything here about specific date as tomorrow. Oh, Jesse says, okay, so T+1 is going to happen. Starts on the 31st. Tomorrow is +1 day. Okay. So are we expecting a massive impact from that tomorrow? Is there a lot of hype around that? I wonder if that will cause some of the heavily shorted meme stocks to run tomorrow. It's from +2 to +1, says CSI. Tomorrow we go from +2 to +1. That should be interesting to watch then. Thankfully, I have tomorrow during the day off. Yeah, Barry Electronics, you got it, man. Of course. G-Stack says T+1. All right. Jesse says cat system starts on the 31st. Barry says, do you have the overall numbers for the weekend movie revenue? I didn't give the overall numbers. I just did the top two movies. I did Garfield and Furiosa, but I can get them for you right now. Hang on. See if I can get a here's an hour ago. Let me pop this up. Let me close this down. I have a massive lag right now on my computer. I don't know why either. It's almost 1 in the morning here. How do I have this massive lag? Okay, here we go. Candace says, hi. Oh, and I'll get to the box office in one sec, Barry. Candace says, hi, Mass. How are you? I don't understand the cat. I thought they say it was pushed off for 2 years, but it's also saying it's starting, so I'm confused. Candace, everything I've heard was said it's starting. I know before June 1st that everything would be implemented. And according to everyone in the chat right now, including CSI, he's saying that the settlement date goes to +1 from 2 to 1. So we're going to get even tighter as far as information, how quickly it is coming to us. That's what I'm getting from what everyone's saying in the chat. I had a rough week, man. I worked 6 nights in a row because everyone's away on vacation. So I haven't been able to keep track of everything going on right now as well as I'd like to. I think the last time I even was looking into cat system was at the beginning or the end of last week. So a lot has transpired since then. But yeah, from what I know, everything is supposed to be in before June 1st. And that's according to everyone in the chat right now, like I said. And they're obviously staying way on top of it. Tossin Black says, here we go, Candace. Tossin says, only the option subsection of the cat was pushed for 2 years. Everything else starts Friday, I believe. Yeah, Candace, according to a lot of guys in the chat. CSI says, a lot of brokers have already compiled. They're the ones getting found out, but people like Citadel and Virtu will wait till the very last day to comply, which makes sense, right? It's probably a good possibility that that's happening. I'm going to pop this up so you guys can see the chat. Thank you, Tossin Black. And according to your wife's boyfriend, GameStop is up a few bucks in Germany right now. So let's hope that AMC follows suit, right? All right, let me look at these box office numbers. Hopefully this will be, let me pull this over to the other screen. All right, this is from the Washington Post. Slow holiday weekend ranked among the lowest in nearly 30 years at the box office. You're going to give us a final number here? 31, 32. Final figure will be released. All right, so here it says, #1 film in 29 years, theater closed for the coronavirus pandemic. In 95, Casper, I said that earlier, right? Casper opened with 22 million for the holiday weekend, not adjusted for inflation. Shit, remember that too. We're not these numbers are not adjusted for inflation, right? Final figures will be released later this week. So I don't even think we closed in on a $100 million weekend. I know we're way off for expectations right now, Barry Electronics. They thought Furiosa was going to do somewhere between 70 and 85 million, and it looks like it is going to be 32 million total. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Candace, you're welcome. I'm sorry I don't have more pertinent information to give you. I'm trying. Your wife's boyfriend says push for 10 years. CSI says that part was pushed back 2 years was of no coincidence, I think. Jesse brings up a good point. And this is something we've been saying here for 3 years in this channel. Good point, Jesse. Says, remember, the SEC has to enforce it. That's the biggest thing, right? CSI says the SEC wanted them to report every time a broker contacted a market maker for a quote on a stock. Yeah, I think I did hear something about that, CSI. They argued, why would we have to report even when we just looking for a quote, no trade had happened? That is always the big question, though. Is the SEC actually going to enforce this? I mean, obviously, you would assume that they know that retail is watching what's going on, right? So we're seeing the fruit that this is, bearing for us. This is actually working. Now, will it have a huge impact on AMC or GME? According to, who was it up here that just put in the message? Your wife's boyfriend said GameStop was up a few bucks in Germany. So this should be interesting to figure out. I know, Barry Electronics. It's tough, right? It's tough. Yeah, not a good weekend. Like I was saying earlier before you joined us, it's unfortunate that we've just been duped too many times. They have completely lost all trust from the fan base. All these movie makers, the directors, the producers right now have been forced into pushing this ideology and the girl boss thing, and it's getting old, right? People have better things to do and better ways of spending their time and their hard-earned money. Hollywood is not getting the benefit of the doubt anymore. I don't think ordinary average people are gonna go out and see a movie just to be disappointed or to have a bait and switch pulled on them like we've seen for the last 3 years. And again, we can't blame COVID anymore. COVID's been over for a while. Now, we can blame other things as far as, why these numbers are so lacking. We could talk about the writer's strike and, the DEI hires and who is running these corporations right now, who is at the head of the film studios. Do they belong there in the first place? Or were they hired for, because they checked the box? All those things are having an effect on the theaters right now, right? And on the movies. We've seen good movies come out and do exceptionally well, right? We've seen some movies go out there and make, what was it I was just watching earlier? That a movie last year that just did $1.9 billion in revenue, right? We've seen it with the Super Mario Brothers movie, Oppenheimer. We saw it with Barbie. We saw it with Avatar. We saw it with Top Gun Maverick. If you make the good movies and the stories people want to go see, they will still put their hard-earned money up to go to the box office and watch on the big screen. But they are not going to go and give their hard-earned money for, some remake or rehash or prequel that has nothing to do with Mel Gibson or the original Mad Max. That's, based off of a side story of the original, plot. That people just aren't going to do that anymore. They've had it. Barry says that no, Jesse was just mentioning something in the comments about that, Barry. That Metamaterials MMATP, or whatever the ticker is, sued exposing naked shorting. I did see something about it. It was probably on Facebook the other day. Caleb says, what's up, night shift people? Caleb, finally have a night off, man. And I'm on here doing a live stream tonight. My one night off. Actually, that's a lie. I don't work tomorrow night. Last week, I had to work 6 nights. This week, I don't. Jesse says GME was up 37% in Germany, and on Robinhood trades up 30% right now. Really? Okay, so that's exciting. That's good to know. CSI says, oh, they're going to enforce it. I hope so. Barry says need more concerts. Yeah, they got to go out and do some fishing. Yeah. Yeah, we're just in a tough spot right now with the movies, man. All those things that have been dragging us down are still rearing their ugly head. I don't know what it's going to take to change, but it just sucks for all of us who are holding AMC shares right now because we need those fundamentals to be better. We need to become a profitable company. What is stopping these companies from going out and shorting us? And I'm not talking about the naked shorting and, rehypothecation of shares. I'm talking about in general, when a person is looking at the market and looking at the company, besides their ability right now to raise capital through selling more shares, things aren't looking great at the box office. And let's just admit that is how the theaters make money, right? Getting asses in the seats in order for people to buy popcorn and soda and all the things that come along, all of the concessions that come with the movies. That is really where they are making a huge portion of their revenue. And if people aren't going to the movies, that means they aren't buying concessions. And there's only so much that we can make up on the other end as far as what Adam Aaron has done with, making the popcorn available on Amazon and putting it in the Walmarts and, the candy now and the things that he has done, the steps he's taken, as well as doing the concert series, right? There's only so far that's going to go. This needs to be done the way it's always been done. And that is asses in seats and people buying your concessions. Ultimately, if that fails, then the whole thing falls apart. Bro Gabe, good to see you in the chat tonight. How you doing, my friend? Candace says, I don't understand these idiots trying to push all this woke crap and losing massive money. Candace, they said Furiosa right now had $170 million budget. So we'll take that and double it for promoting the film, right? And the advertisements and all that. Talking about $340 million that they'd have to make back. So far, they're at $32 million. So at best, they're going to lose about half of what they put into filming this movie. Now, do you really think if they had went out and let's say made some type of movie with Mel Gibson and brought Mel Gibson back as maybe, a sequel to Mad Max, do you think that would have flopped as bad? I bet you it wouldn't have. On this weekend, I bet you it would have done really well. Or even if they had brought back Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, it might have done better than this. Anything is better than this. I just don't understand the mindset either, Candace. I don't get it. I don't know how many times, like you say, they can keep doubling down this insanity. It's crazy. I don't understand it. And again, something that we couldn't foresee when we originally got back into AMC in early 2021. There's no way we could have prepared for this nonsense that's going on. That's just crushing the industry as a whole. It's really, again, I saw the numbers on the pre-sales for Deadpool Wolverine at 10 million in pre-sales. They've taken in a third of the money for pre-sales of a movie that's not coming out for 2 months than this movie that they spent almost $200 million producing has made an opening weekend on a holiday weekend to boot. Candace says they're talking about changing the Pirates of the Caribbean ride to something with Peter Pan, so it's not so offensive. Like they did with Disney with, what was it? Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They used to have, which was another ride that I guess was offensive. It's just nuts. It's really frustrating. Can't take it anymore. CSI says, man, they could have released Deadpool and Wolverine over the holiday weekend. What is the actual release date for that movie? I know it's about 2 months away. Is it coming out? It's not even coming out on the holiday weekends. Come out July 26, 2024. Yeah, I don't get it. Why wouldn't you have released that either on 4th of July or Memorial Day, right, CSI? Makes no sense. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Barry says NASCAR should partner with AMC to do live broadcasts. I think that's been mentioned to Aaron before. On the big screen with big sound might help fill some of the Hollywood's shortcomings. Yeah. What we really need is the heads of these companies to either be replaced or I don't know. They need some major changes, man. I don't know how many times this can keep happening over and over again. Again, I hate sitting here and saying it's so frustrating, but it is. It is fucking blowing my mind. This continues to happen over and over and over again. Same results. It's just insanity. Gorilla God, how you doing tonight? Gorilla God says, yo, what's up, Massalorian? Good to see you, brother. Hey, man, good to see you too. Good to see you too. Taking advantage of the night off, spending it here with my people. It was a rough last 6 nights. I'll be honest. Thank God today was dreary and rainy and dark because I actually got to catch up on some sleep. It's really hard here. My body still hasn't got adjusted to doing that overnight shift. So when I get home, initially I'll fall asleep for maybe an hour or two. Sun is out. That's it. It's really hard for me mentally to be like, oh, I have to go back to bed. I just feel like I should start the day, right? It's rough. Your wife. Some movies people haven't even heard of. Lethal Weapon 5 will be directed by Mike Gibson. Not enough recent movies. How they're going to build hype yet? It's rough, man. Then you throw in the strike on top of it and everything else that's happened. It's just, and then having to wait like another year for them to get their act together. How long is it going to take for them to get real with this? We got a couple more good movies that are coming out before the end of the year. I believe there's a Gladiator sequel coming out before the end of the year. A couple other big films. And then we're talking about 2025 again. Another year for them to continue to fail at these projects. Fuck. Oh, there's Pam. Pam, what's going on, girl? I've been looking for Pam. Wondering where you've been, Pam. Says I'm about to drive. All right. Drive safely, Pam. We don't want you texting or chatting. Devil May Rage, what's going on, buddy? He says, unless AMC makes exclusive content, they are screwed. I've thought about this a lot, Devil May Rage. They need to get in the game and start saying, get looking into doing their own stuff. I agree with you 1,000%. Devil May Rage says, unless AMC makes exclusive content, they are screwed. Hollywood is a cesspool spewing out propaganda, and they will not stop. They have shown that. Man, I couldn't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. And obviously, they can't do it all on their own, right? They're not going to be able to produce 50 to 100 movies. But they got to start thinking about that, at least heading in that direction and saying, all right, well, we're going to try to get back and maybe find the stories out there that we can take advantage of that, piece of the country that we've lost, right? Clearly the thirst is out there for the good movies. People still want to go see movies on a big screen, but they are not going to allow themselves to be propagandized anymore. They're not going to let their kids go and view this shit anymore. They're just not doing it. They've had it. Frankly, so have I. They really should be taking advantage of the half of the country that's been totally disillusioned with the theaters. Jesse says, I don't trust the SEC and FINRA because of the MMTLP. Yeah, a lot of people got lost because of that. I remember when I was down in D.C. for the protest, I met a couple from New York, and they were only there because of what happened with its stock. And, they were frustrated. And they said, until I see some serious changes being made, I refuse to get involved with the market anymore. And I get it. Shareholders want to see the blue sheet. They don't want to share them. You have to tell yourself, what are they hiding? Right. 100%. Pam says, yes, leaving my parents' house now. Yeah, Pam, drive safe, please. I think she's waving to her boyfriend. Yeah. All right. I said I was going to get to as many things as possible. Let's talk about what happened in the Bronx over the week. I believe it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. There was a rally held in the deep blue Bronx. The only problem is, I don't know if we're going to. Let me see if I can get sound on this. All right. We'll give it a try. Hopefully this pops up. All right, guys, you got to let me know in the chat if you can hear sound on this video.
Then we have the illegals flooding our borders. That we already have. Why should we allow this to happen? Every last person here needs to rise up and get fighting mad. And make sure that you are registered to vote and go out there and you vote up and down the line, not just the presidency. The local elections are more important than the presidency. Get rid of AOC. Vote her ass out. Get rid of Richie Torres. Vote his ass out. I have nothing to lose. So I just stand up here and I can say this. I paid to be here. She got on color TV this morning and said that Trump busting these people and paid everyone out here. Who here got paid to be here today? Are you here because you know that this is the time in history that you're in the right place at the right time and you need to be here today?
All right. So that was at the Bronx rally the other day. And from what I know, she's the head of Blexit New York. And if you don't know what Blexit is, Blexit was the foundation started by Alfred Tatum and Candace Owens. And that clip there was from Interstar Media. It says she's rallying the troops and telling people to rise up and stop allowing the destruction of this country. The Bronx is about to vote AOC out soon. I think she may be able to get her old job back. Yeah, so that was pretty fiery, right? That came from that mother. Now, from the research I've done, she lost 2 sons. One to a shooting and one to a fentanyl from bad cocaine. Which is why she said, I got nothing to lose. Of course, the mainstream media is having an absolute meltdown. Absolute. I gotta play this clip because this just watching Abby Phillips get demolished by Byron Donald. All right, so Abby Phillips, you guys know who that is from CNN, and had Byron Donalds on, and she was asking him about all of the allegations about him, and well, let me just play the clip. By the way, this clip is from Modern Renaissance Man. He's another YouTuber. That's his actual channel, is Modern Renaissance Man. And I'm not sure if he put together this montage or if someone else did, but it's from his channel that I pulled this from. So I just want to make sure I give him shout out and a credit for putting this together. But here's the interaction. And Byron Donalds is basically going to shut her down. And then this gentleman goes in and shows a montage of all the president has disavowed white supremacy. No matter how many times he says it, they call him a racist.
And Hispanic. What do you say to Black and Hispanic, not just are paying attention to the economic stuff, but also about character, Donald Trump's character in particular? When he was running his real estate empire, he was sued by the DOJ for racial discrimination. More recently, when he was president of the United States, he didn't want to denounce the white supremacists and racists in Charlottesville. When people look at that record, what do you say to them when they say we can't trust Donald Trump?
No, we got. If you're still on YouTube of the president talking about what happened in Charlottesville, he denounced all of the white supremacy that was going on in Charlottesville. I've reviewed that tape. I know you and your producers have reviewed that tape multiple times. Let's not take one text. Let's be factual now. Well, you got to be for 17 minutes. He denounced it. That is the history. People, go on YouTube right now. Don't listen to my words. Go on YouTube right now and watch it.
Right. See what he said? 17 minutes. But I'm gonna do y'all a solid. I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do more than what Trump said. I'm gonna give y'all various things on what Trump said. Okay, check it out.
He has yet once to condemn white supremacy, the neo-Nazis.
David, a bigot, a racist, a problem.
I'm not looking. Would you repudiate David Duke?
Sure.
David Duke and robocalls are out again. And the white supremacist movement supporting you. Do you have any words for that?
Well, I disavow.
David Duke endorsed. Okay. All right. I disavow. Okay.
When we look, I disavowed David Duke. So I disavowed David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter, and obviously it's never enough.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
When Chris joined, we had a news conference, and they asked me the exact same question. Disavow. I disavowed then. I disavowed today on ABC with George Stephanopoulos. I disavowed again.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan, disavow David Duke. Ultimately, he got to the Ku Klux Klan, which obviously I'm going to disavow.
I've rejected David Duke, I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan.
David Duke is saying to his supporters and followers, vote for Donald Trump. White supremacists are saying, do you want those votes?
No.
What is he supposed to do about that? Seriously, what is he supposed to do about that?
I don't want that.
By the way.
I don't like any group of hate.
David Duke announced his Senate candidacy, claiming your agenda.
Are you ready before you ask the question?
Newt Gingrich said every Republican should repudiate this guy no matter what it takes.
And I do. Rebuked. Is that okay? Rebuked.
Rebuked.
Done.
Do you want white supremacists to vote for you?
No, I don't at all. Not at all.
His campaign is denouncing a show of support from the KKK's official newspaper, as in the Ku Klux Klan.
In the same New York Times interview, he denounced white supremacists. He denounced the neo-Nazis who support him.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. I spoke out forcefully against hatred, bigotry, and violence, and strongly condemned the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, and the KKK.
President Donald Trump signed a congressional joint resolution that condemns white supremacy, neo-Nazis, and other hate groups.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. Any group of hate, I don't like it. Any group of hate, I am, whether it's white supremacy, whether it's any other kind of supremacy, whether it's Antifa, whether it's any group of hate, I am very concerned about it, and I'll do something about it.
So there you go. Media can't handle it. To the American people, to the few viewers that they have left on that damn network, because their ratings are sinking. I think I saw the other day that they are at like an all-time low since their inception for viewership. Yeah, here it is. This out, and then I gotta play before I let you go. Joy Reid's commentary on MSNBC. She took the cake on this one for sure. Just blatantly sat there and lied to her entire audience. All right, here's this is from 6 days ago. Okay. You guys can see this. Oh, come on. Like crazy over here. Hang on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, here we go. All right, this is from Fox News from the 22nd. So 6 days ago, CNN's primetime lineup hit dismal viewership low despite New York versus Trump trial. So remember, they have the trial going on in New York right now, the Stormy Daniels trial, with Michael Cohen's testimony just last week, where he admitted to stealing like $30,000 or $60,000 from the Trump campaign. Unbelievable. They had this freaking liar come up on the stand. Struggling prime up lineup hit significant viewership low in a critical category last week, despite the landmark New York vs. Trump trial dominating the news cycle. CNN's primetime lineup of Anderson Cooper 360, The Source with Ugly Collins, and CNN's Newsnight with Abby Phillips managed only 83,000. Think about that. 83,000 nightly viewers in the advertiser-coveted demographic of adults aged 25 to 54 from May 13th to the 19th. The dismal toll tied the network's smallest audience in the critical 1991. That is atrocious. CNN's primetime lineup has smaller audience among the demo than 23 different basic cable options, including FXX, MTV, the Hallmark Channel, Discovery, A&E, Adult Swim, Comedy Central, TLC, HGTV, the Food Network, ESPN, Deuce, Bravo, Fox News, and MSNBC. CNN's primetime lineup wasn't particularly successful among total viewers either, averaging only 484,000 total viewers compared to 2 million for Fox News. That is just insane. The target demographic coming in under 100,000 people watching. People have had it. They're fed up with the trash and the lies. We are just watching the decline of mainstream media down the hole. It's crazy. So crazy. Whoever thought that we'd ever think back to like when CNN was at its peak. You'd have to say maybe right after the 2016 election, but even go back further. Like I'm trying to think about when I was growing up. After college, CNN was like the go-to for news. That's where you would be going to watch the news. And now they can't even pull 100,000 viewers in their prime targeted audience demographic that's 25 to 54 that transfer of wealth in the history of mankind, and they can't get 100,000 viewers. It's absolutely insane. I never would have guessed in a million years that CNN would tank this badly. But with the, having all these other news outlets out there, getting away from the mainstream media, getting into some of the streaming services with just YouTube and Rumble and X and all these different platforms now where people can go and get actual factual information and not government state authorized propaganda. They are dead man walking. They really are. They will say the same exact opposite. It's unreal. Yeah, and that's why, it doesn't even matter. Like, they're never going to stop saying that the guy is a white supremacist racist because they have nothing else. And the funniest thing is, just looking back, because a lot of us have known Trump, not known him, but known of him from, back in the late 80s and partying in Studio 54 and Don King, and then going on to hanging out with Michael Jackson and Jesse Jackson, and then The Apprentice for 15 years. No one ever had a problem with Donald Trump. No one was out there saying that he was some kind of white supremacist racist. It just was not said. It didn't happen until the man came down, announced that he was running for president. All of a sudden, everyone abandoned him except for, this new movement of patriotic Americans who are trying to save this country and are tired of seeing their hard-earned tax dollars shipped overseas for foreign wars and protecting other people's borders instead of our own. It's nuts. Kryptonian says, funny if he got bought out to True Social. All right, this is the last clip I'm going to play for you guys. Hopefully it doesn't lag. But this was, I got this from, I don't even remember who came. Meltdown. But also her completely lying about what happened at that rally. And this is why they are doomed. It's because of hosts like this. People who just cannot tell the truth, no matter what people.
All right, you are gonna love. You're looking at.
This isn't even the right video. Hang on. I don't know how it jumped ahead. Okay, we got volume. We're good.
This is a call for some good old-fashioned shoe leather reporting. Was anyone at this rally asked if they're actually from the Bronx? Because remember, the New York City borough of the Bronx boasts a majority of Latino and blue voters. At that crowd, I'm just saying, it looked awfully white.
He has came to Morrisania, South Bronx, the hood. So I respect him.
We need Trump here. That's why I'm voting for him. We want change. We want the city red again. Go Trump! Go Trump.
Was anyone at this rally asked if they're actually from the Bronx?
It was a large crowd and a diverse crowd. Yes, there were some people.
This is her own network.
From New Jersey, but there were a lot of people there that were from the Bronx.
I'm just saying, it looked awfully white.
Look at all the people around. Everybody's here for Trump. I am a Democrat, and I belong here.
And who are you voting for?
Donald J. Trump.
You ain't black. The strategy is to convince America that black and brown folks are the Americans who are really, really into Trump.
Trump will shout the wins for all of us. Make America great again.
And to top off this tomfoolery, Trump floated Florida Congressman Byron Donalds as a potential vice presidential pick. Donalds,
Who, by the way, would be an amazing pick if he wasn't so young and such a newer member of Congress, right? If he had 2 years already under his belt, he's articulate. He has a phenomenal vocabulary, the issues inside and out. He would be an awesome pick. And he might very well be the future of the Republican Party. But I just think he's too young and doesn't have enough time in DC, which maybe is the thing that we really need. I mean, if we're being real here, you don't want someone who's a swamp creature, right? And Byron certainly doesn't seem like he is. But he would have my vote.
Trump's lie that Biden authorized the feds to take him out. That guy, the one black guy that Republicans love to roll out as fake proof that black people, the blacks, are just MAGA. They're MAGA. It's a joke.
Isn't she lovely?
Not one bit.
My godmother, my Jamaican godmother, lived in the Bronx. That is where I lived after college. You know, I'm an orphan, so after that I went and lived with my godmother. So I know what the South Bronx is like. I know what it's like. That ain't it they were trying to show. They're trying to use this location and this little crowd, which they inflated, to try to make it look like it's black and brown people that are Donald Trump's base. Does it irritate you as much as it does me? Anybody black, like Byron Donalds, who, by the way, is from Brooklyn. He's from East Flatbush, Brooklyn, like me. His family is Caribbean American, like mine. He knows better than this. I grew up around the time of the Central Park Five. I know what Donald Trump is. That's why I never even watched The Apprentice. Anybody black that knows anything about Donald Trump thinks the way I do about him.
Anybody black that knows anything about Donald Trump thinks the way I do about him.
Come on, if you're racist and you know it, clap your hands.
All right. Joy Reid's a real piece of work, man. Real piece of work. Yeah, Candace, that's what I saw too, right? There were people of every color there. And, you know, again, I don't know if Trump's going to save us from the swamp. He's got to really insulate himself with people who he can trust. I hope he learned his lesson from the first 4 years. And he makes sure that these neocons don't get into his cabinet. Like, God, please don't let Nikki Haley in there or some of the other people they're talking about. They're even floating Mike Pompeo's name out there again. He needs to, and, you know, he got booed pretty hard the other day. He went to the Libertarian Convention down in D.C., and he got booed pretty hard when he asked for Libertarians' vote. But at least he has the stones to go down there. Joe Biden won't go down to the Bronx to try to hold a rally like that. It's AOC's district. She wouldn't even be able to get that many people to show up. So the fact that they are melting down over this, just a transitional change taking place in this country. People are not falling for the white supremacist narrative anymore. And, you know, this presidential election could be a landslide. It really could. There's one thing, though, and I'm going to save it for next week, was something I saw the other day. Someone put up a map of the presidential election, the way the states are headed right now. And there was something that was really, really interesting. And I'll just give you guys a quick, brief synopsis. Someone broke down, and I'll play the video for the next live stream, broke down that if Trump won all the states that he won back in 2020, not 2016, when all the states he won in 2020, as well as the 4 to 5 swing states, being Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and there was one more. I can't remember off the top of my head. Won all 5 of those states, but lost Texas, he would lose the nomination. And I don't know if you guys have looked at the polls recently, but Texas right now is extremely close. Obviously, over the last 3 years, we've had some imports from outside of the United States in that state. So it was quite scary looking at and seeing how it would play out, even if Trump took all 5 of this. Oh, Pennsylvania was the 5th state. If Trump takes all 5 of the swing states but loses Texas, he would lose the nomination. Something to think about for the next time we live stream, which more than likely, guys, will be a week from tonight. Again, I'm going to keep popping up here on Monday nights to hold these live streams. All right. It is 1:30. We've been on for about an hour and 45 minutes right now. I will let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. We got 110 people on live right now. God bless all you guys. And listen, I really appreciate all the support and the love. And, you know, we got some interesting things coming up. T+1 happens tomorrow. Let's see how that goes down. Again, the box office weekend was abysmal, but hopefully, man, that these numbers start changing people's attitudes about this. That's all I can say. Thanks for everyone who got into the comments. Pam just got home safe. That's a perfect way to end this stream. Pam the Trader made it home. Good to hear, Pam. All right. I love all you guys. Have a great night. And I hope you all had a great holiday. I will see you in 6 days. God bless, guys. Good night.